The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout is a psychological exploration of sociopathy, a condition affecting approximately 4% of the population. Stout defines sociopaths as individuals who lack a conscience, meaning they feel no guilt, remorse, or empathy for others. These individuals often blend seamlessly into society, and because they aren't always violent or overtly criminal, they frequently go unnoticed. The book begins with the startling premise that 1 in 25 people is a sociopath, which immediately challenges the reader to reconsider assumptions about trust and human behavior. Stout argues that the lack of conscience is not always easy to detect. Sociopaths can be charming, articulate, and socially successful. This allows them to manipulate others and maintain control without raising suspicion. Their methods are subtle and often include deception, flattery, and calculated displays of emotion. Unlike people who may sometimes lie or manipulate, sociopaths do these things with no emotional cost, making them especially dangerous in personal and professional environments. The author draws on her experience as a clinical psychologist to illustrate the behaviors and thought processes of sociopaths. She includes case studies of patients and stories that reflect the everyday nature of sociopathy. These real-world examples are meant to humanize the abstract and sometimes terrifying concept of living among people who do not feel guilt or remorse. Through these stories, she emphasizes how sociopaths can appear to be trustworthy friends, partners, or co-workers while quietly exploiting others for personal gain. One of the book's key themes is the importance of intuition. Stout encourages readers to trust their gut feelings, especially when something feels off about another person's behavior. Because sociopaths are skilled at masking their intentions, it often takes emotional instincts rather than logical evidence to detect them early. She also highlights how easily people can dismiss their own discomfort, especially when dealing with someone who appears outwardly likable or impressive. Another crucial point is the danger of giving people the benefit of the doubt when their behavior is harmful. Stout discusses how empathy, while a strength in most people, can become a weakness when dealing with sociopaths. Since sociopaths rely on the assumption that others will forgive, explain away, or minimize their actions, this makes their manipulation easier. The book urges readers to rethink the notion that everyone deserves second chances or has fundamentally good intentions. Stout explains how sociopaths often exploit institutional systems and hierarchies. They can rise in workplaces, families, and governments by using charm, coercion, and deceit. Because they lack inner conflict or moral hesitation, they are often more ruthless and strategic than others, making them formidable adversaries in any setting. Their success isn't accidental, it's a result of deliberate and calculated moves that prey on others' vulnerability and trust. A central part of the book focuses on the psychological impact sociopaths have on their victims. Emotional abuse, gaslighting, self-doubt, and deep mistrust are common results of prolonged exposure to a sociopath. Stout offers guidance on how to recover, emphasizing the need to cut ties completely when possible, to avoid emotional entanglement, and to rebuild self-confidence and autonomy. Stout discusses how societal ideals like politeness, obedience, and forgiveness can inadvertently protect sociopaths. Because many people are conditioned to avoid conflict or give others the benefit of the doubt, they may unknowingly enable toxic behavior. The book challenges readers to prioritize personal safety and mental well-being over societal expectations, especially when dealing with someone who shows no remorse. She also delves into the biological and psychological roots of sociopathy. While there's no single cause, research suggests a mix of genetics and environment may contribute. Stout emphasizes that sociopaths aren't merely products of trauma or poor upbringing. Many grow up in normal households. What sets them apart is an absence of conscience, a trait that doesn't simply emerge due to bad experiences but is more deeply ingrained. The book touches on the cultural fascination with evil and why sociopaths can be so intriguing. Stout warns against glamorizing them, especially in media where such characters are often portrayed as charismatic anti-heroes. This misrepresentation can blur the lines between normal personality flaws and truly dangerous behavior. She reminds readers that real sociopaths cause real harm, often to those closest to them. Importantly, Stout outlines 13 rules for identifying and protecting oneself from sociopaths. These include trusting your instincts, questioning excessive flattery, and watching for consistent patterns of lying or manipulation. Her advice is practical, direct, and empowering, aimed at helping readers feel less helpless and more in control when facing manipulative individuals. Throughout the book, Stout's tone remains compassionate and humanistic. She acknowledges that many victims of sociopaths suffer in silence and often blame themselves. Her writing seeks to remove that burden of guilt and offer validation to those who have been manipulated or abused by someone without a conscience. The narrative style is engaging and accessible, making complex psychological ideas easy to grasp. Stout balances clinical insights with storytelling, which helps maintain interest while also educating the reader. Her goal is not to spread paranoia but to raise awareness so that people can better navigate relationships and social systems. She also addresses common myths, such as the belief that sociopaths are always criminals or that they can be reformed through love or therapy. Stout firmly asserts that sociopathy is not curable in the traditional sense, and efforts to rehabilitate such individuals often result in further manipulation rather than change. As the book progresses, Stout shifts from diagnosis to prevention, urging people to draw strong personal boundaries and develop emotional intelligence. She encourages readers to become more self-aware and to recognize how their own empathy can be weaponized against them. By the end, The Sociopath Next Door becomes more than just a guide to identifying toxic people, it becomes a call to protect conscience and decency in a world where not everyone plays by the same rules. Stout leaves readers with a sense of caution, but also with tools and hope to navigate relationships with greater awareness and strength.